All right, everyone. We start off today talking about Joe Manchin saying that Joe Biden should pardon Donald Trump. There's an awful lot of Joes in the Democratic Party, I've noticed. I think that that's a poor idea. If Joe Biden does actually do that, it'll just be a parting shot. It'll be completely political because Donald Trump, the cases against him, they're already dead. They're completely null and void at this point. There's exactly one case in which he was convicted, but he was never sentenced, so technically speaking, he's not even a felon, so I don't even know legally that there's anything to specifically pardon. And also, some of these cases aren't even federal, and the rest of them are completely dead. Like the Jack Smith case, he fucking resigned completely in order to save his pension. He's completely gone, radio silent, much like Kamala Harris, by the way. I disagree with Manchin, though. I think that the only reason that Joe Biden would do that is basically it has a ha-ha fuck you as he's outgoing. He's walking out the door and the last thing he does is effectively insult Donald Trump by attempting to assert some sort of legal hegemony. Hey, come on, man, you'd be in jail if it weren't for me. That would basically be the insinuation. It wouldn't be true, but it would be political fodder to liberals. Liberals would also love it, and he very much might do this, by the way, because it would also be ass covering for the fact that he pardoned his own son in a clearly nepotistic manner. Now, with the Hunter pardon, I don't even care about several of the charges against him. Like, I think that you should be able to mail order a machine gun, so I don't care about the gun charge. The government is just going to use your money to bomb you many orphans and stuff like that, so I don't really care about the tax evasion. And so that part of it is fine. It was clearly ass covering, though, for Burisma and things like that. That's why the time period that's involved with the Hunter pardon is as it is. A Trump pardon, though, would neither be necessary nor proper. It wouldn't make any sense. Donald Trump is the incoming president of the United States, will leave office in his 80s. He's got effective immunity under the law against these charges anyway, including those that fell through and have already, he's not even in office and they've effectively been nullified. So there's no reason for a pardon. The only reason that I can think of would be as a smokescreen for the Hunter pardon. Basically, think about it algorithmically. Think about it in the tech sense, because that's how people get their news generally. Nobody pays attention to cable news media and magazines and shit like that anymore. Imagine that you look up pardon right now. What do you see? Stories about Hunter Biden. If Joe Biden decides that's inconvenient, he may pardon Donald Trump because then that's going to gobble down the news cycle completely. Public exposure of the Hunter Biden pardon will circle down the goddamn toilet. Nobody will care about it anymore. And it'll be inexplicable. And people won't even know that it's effectively nothing more than a propaganda tactic. Most people will be oblivious to that. A handful of commentators will warn their audiences. We'll be the only ones that know what the hell is going on. It would be as a smokescreen for that and a fuck you on the way out. Basically, hey, Donald, you ruined my life by beating me at a debate and exposing me as the weak, decrepit old man that I am, so screw off, basically. So it would be poor decorum, ironically, to pardon Trump. Also, it's not really meaningful. If Trump is not going to be sentenced for anything, and he won't be, and he never was going to be, regardless of whether he won the election, by the way, then what is there to pardon? That doesn't mean anything. It's completely irrelevant. He was convicted on 34 felonies or some shit like that in a kangaroo court that was specifically designed to deprive him of his rights for political purposes to try to stop him from winning the election, but he did anyway, and now it's been quietly retired and never got to sentencing. What is there to pardon? If there's no sentence, then who cares? It doesn't even matter. By the way, Trump wouldn't have to accept the pardon. I hate to tell all the liberals this, but if somebody offers you a pardon, you can already reject it and say, fuck off. Donald Trump could 180 that shit and say, well, I didn't do anything wrong to begin with, so I don't need a pardon. Bye. Hey, by the way, I'm the President of the United States. Enjoy my new FBI director. I think that's what Trump should do, if that does actually end up occurring, by the way. Turn the fuck you into a ha-ha no fuck you, basically. This is Shenanigans, and Joe Manchin, he's outgoing too. Like he's lost the plot completely. His own party doesn't like him. I have a couple of issues on which I agree with him, on. That's basically it. I think that most Republicans would feel the same, myself not being one, but, I lean in that direction on certain issues, so that's okay. Manchin, at the very least, doesn't like crushing bureaucracy. But the idea would effectively just be an insult of Donald Trump and a smokescreen. So if it does happen, let me tell you, those will be the two reasons. Number one, attempting to assert hegemony at the 11th hour over Donald Trump right before leaving office. And number two, to create a big stir about the concept of pardons because people are looking it up on the internet. They're looking up information about pardons. A Donald Trump pardon would completely cock-block a Hunter Biden pardon story. Nobody's going to report on the latter. It would completely gobble up the algorithm. This is the way that the internet tends to work. It can be both good and bad, by the way. And that would be Joe Biden's ultimate goal in so doing. Manchin might be trying to facilitate Joe Biden and giving him a little bit of advice. Maybe behind closed doors he said, hey, look, guy, this is a really, really great idea. Because, there's this thing called the internet. Problem for the Democrats is they're so old, generally speaking, that probably half of them can't even operate a smartphone. I mean, I'm not being a hypocrite. I have problems with phones myself, but, I don't have to have a D after my name to accomplish that. I think that it would effectively be algorithmic throttling. It would be almost like what the bread tubers did for a while there before they got stamped out because, they lost their favor with the British government. The bread tubers used to do that, algorithmic hijacking. It was openly talked about. It was funny reading the talk article on Wikipedia about BreadTube, and half of it was about that concept. The idea is you glom on to popular topics or other individuals and you sort of piggyback them. Joe Biden could be about to pardon Donald Trump in order to do exactly that because it'll override the news cycle with regards to the pardon that he just gave the other day. And in order to save face, because there are some liberal commentators right now that are absolutely livid about what happened with the Hunter Biden pardon. There are also some conservatives that don't like it. They wanted him to go to court with the gun charge because then you could effectively defend the Second Amendment using the son of one of the most prominent modern liberals, who's also a crackhead, which would have been inexplicably insane. That's about all. Peace out.